How's it going, everyone? Nick here. Welcome back to the channel, but more importantly, welcome to a Flux crypto update. There are big things coming up for Flux crypto. I just bought 250 Flux myself, so in this video, we're going to go through all of the reasons why I bought Flux and why I think Flux is about to skyrocket. Let's quickly take a look at the 7-day price chart for Flux. As you can see, it has been down a decent amount. Obviously, that's because the whole crypto market is down, especially with the Ukraine and Russia war. Now at the high, it was around 157, 160. At the low, it was around 115. I actually bought in at around the $1.40 point and the $1.18 point. And we can see on the day, it's down 8.02%. And you can see right here in my ZelCore wallet, this is the official wallet for Flux. I have about 255.6 Flux tokens. Now my Flux I have in this wallet is actually Flux BSC or Binance Smart Chain tokens. For those that don't know, Flux can basically run as a parallel asset on a bunch of different blockchains. Binance is one of the easiest ways to actually buy Flux, so that's why I chose it in this case. All right, so on to some of the huge updates. If we go to Cryptovium's Twitter, he has this nice Flux deep dive on the Flux node changes that are coming up in March. So right here, we have the 3 current tiers of Flux nodes, the Cumulus, Nimbus, and Stratus nodes. So for the Cumulus nodes, the current collateral is 10,000 Flux, and that will be reduced to 1,000 Flux from March 1st to March 22nd. Now what they mean by node migration timeline is if you're running a Cumulus node at that 10,000 Flux collateral, you're gonna need to go in during that time period and essentially downgrade it to the 1,000 Flux tier. Now it'll still be a Cumulus node, but this just means that you now can set up 10 Cumulus nodes instead of 1. And that is the same with the Nimbus nodes and Stratus nodes. The Nimbus node reduction starts on March 15th and the Stratus node reduction starts on April 1st. Now I definitely expect some price fluctuations in Flux over this time period. Now here's the question. It could be very, very good or very, very bad. So the pros to these reward reductions are that it will allow way more people to actually run a Flux node. 10,000 Flux is way different monetarily than 1,000 Flux. And I know a lot of beginner to intermediate crypto investors out there don't want to be putting thousands of dollars into an up and coming project. But this 1,000 Flux collateral Cumulus tier is going to be very, very nice for those mid-tier investors that want to get in and actually run one of these Flux nodes. So let's take a quick look at runonflux.com. This actually will show you the Flux dashboard and the economics behind Flux nodes. So if we go to dashboard, economics, this will basically pop up all 3 tiers and what you can expect to make off of running these nodes monthly. Now, right now, these are at the current collaterals. You guys can see 10,000 for Cumulus, 20,000 for Nimbus, and 100,000 Flux for Stratus. Those will be going down, as I said, over March and April. But if we go all the way to the bottom, for a 10,000 Flux collateral Cumulus node, currently the profitability per month is $175. Now these profitabilities, I'm assuming, will go way down with these reductions of the collaterals. Obviously, it's going to be cheaper to run Flux nodes, so the profitability won't be as much. But there's a flip side to this. So since the collaterals are being reduced, more people will buy in and invest in Flux. Therefore, the Flux price could actually be going up. And when Flux price goes up, obviously the rewards you're making for running a Flux node will go up as well. All right, so that was just a brief dive into the Flux node changes and those collateral reductions. I want to move on to the second reason why I just bought into Flux, and that is Titan nodes. So hopefully you can see this well. The picture is a little grainy, but Titan nodes are an even lower tier than the lowest tier Cumulus nodes for you and I to actually invest into. These weren't expected until the 3rd or 4th quarter of this year, but Flux has been tweeting about it, and I think it'll come a little sooner. So these Titan nodes are aimed at entry-level investors, and it really aims to get those people that don't want to physically run a Flux node themselves. Titan nodes allow their users to pool together their Flux to run enterprise level hardware. So let's say you buy a Titan node, I buy a Titan node. our Titan nodes and Flux will be joined together to run on some hardware. Now I'm assuming Flux or some other provider will actually be providing and running this hardware. And this will be an actual node on the Flux network in the Flux ecosystem. Now they say a Titan node at minimum will cost around 200 to 250 Flux. I'm assuming you'll be able to put more because you will be staking or locking up that amount of Flux for 6 months. After those 6 months, the rewards will be released to you, and then you can either choose to stake again into a Titan node or do something else with your Flux. You will have to have your Flux in the ZelCore wallet, so if you don't have a ZelCore wallet already, be sure to go download that. It is a decent wallet. There are some little things that you have to get used to, but all in all, it was pretty easy to use. I was able to transfer my Flux from my MetaMask wallet to ZelCore, no problem. Now again, with the collateral reductions and these new Titan nodes, I can see Flux price going up a decent amount because it allows even more investors to get in on Flux. The barrier to entry is a lot lower, and that's just great for the project. All right, so the next announcement that Flux made on February 18th is they announced a partnership with Seed. That's Seed with 3 E's. Now the title on this was Decentralize the Web, Set Up Your Home Hosted Flux Node with Seed. Seed is essentially an IoT hardware company. And this is one of the great things that I think Flux is doing. They're making it easier for people to invest in Flux and run a Flux node. So if we go to Seed's website, and that is seedstudio.com/flux, they have hardware specifically made to run Flux nodes. Whereas before you'd have to buy your own hardware, kind of set up all the software, set up Flux OS to get your node running. Now they're making them in nice compact packages. Right now, I think this only consists of hardware. So for example, this Cumulus node, this Jetson Sub Mini PC is $849. You can buy it, and I think you'd still have to set it up, but it is nice. They come in these nice little hardware packs. It looks like the cheapest one here for a Cumulus node is $195, and that's run on a Raspberry Pi, and it's called Reterminal. Now, if you go back and actually read this article, I won't go through it right now, but they do say they're working on packaging software into these as well. So you can buy one of these on the Seed website, and it'll come to you preloaded with everything you need to run a Flux node. And that's perfect because it does take some time and some beginner knowledge of computer networking and command line to actually get one of these running. And you can see it is not only Cumulus nodes they have here, they have bigger hardware for Nimbus nodes as well. And these are some pretty good servers, it looks like. It looks like this reserver is an 11th gen Intel Core i5 with 32 gigs of RAM and a ½ terabyte of SSD storage. So you should have no problem running any of these nodes if you do buy them. I think eventually, if I buy more into Flux, I will buy one of these Cumulus tier nodes from Seed. Again, everything Flux is doing is just lowering the barrier of entry into the project, and that is just going to be great for the long term. One little tidbit I did want to mention about actually buying Flux, because it can be confusing for first-time Flux buyers, is that if you are in the US, I think the easiest option is to get and download Binance.us, buy Binance or BNB coin from there, send it to your MetaMask wallet, then from there you can swap your BNB for Flux on PancakeSwap. If you guys want a tutorial of how to do that, or how you can even buy Flux if you only have Coinbase as your exchange, please let me know down below in the comments. Personally, I think Flux is on the rise, but if you want to learn more about another crypto node project, click here to learn more about Thor.